Last stand. Don't surrender.
Hello and welcome to this Warno 1v1 game played on the new-ish Chemical cut of an old map. Now they start in opposite corners. Today we've got Tian playing 56Y, which is still completely broken. And he's going up against Deep Battle playing 79Y, which is still pretty strong. I'd say it's a high A tier div. So, as always, timestamps in the description. We'll go through the deck reviews, then we'll talk about the map, the matchup, the deployments, and then the game. Right, so this is the deck review for Deep Battle, and we'll go through it tab by tab. So, whoops, I misclicked. How did I manage that? I did that part out. So, 3 cards of supply, very normal, very normal. Yeah, you get the big supply, the medium supply, the small supply. There's not much else to say, really. Between these two, they both have 3 availability, and one of them's faster. So I'd get the wheeled one, especially in this div, where most of your CVs are going to be tank CVs, which are tracked. And these are only 2 availability, so, I mean, this can be useful to carry it around with arty and stuff, but generally you want the 3 availability ones. They're just so much more useful, and never bring a Helo CV. Yeah, Inf tab, so Saperi. So I always say that, like, satchels are better than, you know, flamethrowers or whatever, but the RPO is actually pretty decent. It is actually pretty decent, and, you know, you can bring these squads on, like, no vet, and then have a meat squad in front, and then just be behind them and shoot them. You can do that, or you can do whatever, but I wouldn't be bringing satchels on no vet simply because they have to run up to the enemy to throw their satchel, and in that time they tend to take a lot of suppression damage, and then they just rout. So I'd be bringing it a 1 vet. But yeah, I'd try the RPO, see what you think, and maybe bring them at 1 vet or bring them at no vet and just spam out RPOs and then run away. Because you don't have to be that close to use this. 675 meters range is actually pretty decent. That's a lot of rocket launchers go that far. So, like, look, so it's really not that bad actually. The RPO, the flash is really not good, but the RPO is not so bad. So you could try that. I mean, we're just giving ideas here, and I would upvet it. Then BMP2D spam, which is very normal, and yeah, basically there's a cheaper motor strokey and a more expensive one, and the point of the cheaper one is you get it so you can spam out more BMP2s. Between these, the D is better because it's got more side armor, which can save you a lot, and rear armor. It loses its amphibious capability, which is really only useful for 1 map in rotation, and that would be Chemical. I suppose Mount River as well, but really, you barely ever need it. So yes, BMP2 spam at 1 vet, BMP2 spam, BMP2 spam, and then motor strokies in BMP1s. So I wouldn't do this. Basically, you don't have any wheeled fighting infantry. Oh, never mind, you do. Never mind. So you can either bring, you know, I mean, are you really using this? Maybe you are. We'll see in the game, right? But yeah, grenade launchers. You want this at Novet because the whole point is that you kind of use it defensively and it just shoots, and it's only got 4 strength, which is actually quite a bit. But generally, you know, if you're taking suppression, then you should be retreating with this squad. It's just generally an offensive squad, and you want as many as possible so you can get as many grenade launchers out as possible because they're really good. But if you find that you really are only bringing 4 in a game, then you might as well upvet it. So it's up to you in that regard. And then Conker's team. I don't know if you really need this on this division, given that you've got so many tanks and stuff. And you've got these if you need a Conkers. Like, do you really need this? Maybe you do. I don't know. But basically, I'd be getting rid of one of these 3. Maybe the grenade launcher, or maybe the Conkers, or maybe even this one. And I'd be bringing the Commandatura in the Commandatura military police vehicle. This thing is so useful. So, you know, you put the Commandaturas with your regular squads. It helps them fight. And then the vehicle, you turn off the auto cell on it, and you do Shift F, click a tank, and it just follows your tank around and gives your tank way more suppression resistance. And because you've got heavy tanks, it's really, really, really useful. So, artillery tab, we've got the MTLB, mortar for smoke, makes a lot of sense. Bringing it in the tracked thing so it can survive counter battery makes a lot of sense. Then we've got the Acacia, which, yeah, makes a lot of sense. Then we've got the Grad. In 1v1 it can be hard to bring this out, but it is good. It is still good, even though it's only one per card now. It is good. So hopefully we'll see it in the game, and with 3 cards of supply you can keep it firing for a bit. But do you find that you're bringing 2 Acacias and a Grad? Maybe you are, but if you're not, you can upvet this, and then it will shoot faster, and, it's up to you, really. Tank tab, so yeah, here are the rest of the CVs. So 3 CV cards, which is what we like to see. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then BRDM2 Conkers, which is a really useful tool. Then the TO55s, which got buffed this patch, so they now come at the T55 Veterancy. It used to be like 842 or something, or 642, and now it's 964. So yeah, you can bring it at 1 vet. It's pretty useful at the start, because near the start, because it's so much cheaper than your heavy tanks that you can get them out quite quickly. Then we've got a bunch of tanks at 1 vet. So yeah, I think this is all very sensible. Another thing you can do with these is bring them at 2 vet, because you only lose 1 availability, but then you lose 2 tanks, and they don't benefit from an ROF increase. And you don't really need the suppression regeneration if you bring the military police. I recommend trying it. So yeah, I think that's all good there. Then in the recon tab, you got to bring these, because this is your airborne forward deployment. It's very, very strong. Then here's another card of satchels, and I'd definitely be upvetting this as well, because like, are you really bringing, more than 12 recon? And yeah, in the BTR 60PB, so yeah, be bringing that at 1 vet. And the motorized Razvedka in the Razvedka BMP2, which is sort of a must bring. This is really, really OP, basically. It's just really, really strong. It's so annoying to fight against, because it's got mediocre stealth, you don't see it, and it sees you because it's got good optics, and it's got 4 armor. It's really annoying. It's really annoying. Then, and so you should bring it. Then a recon healer. What is missing here is this. So you will struggle to see enemy stuff with your tanks, and you can substitute that for the recon helo. But I really like this thing. Do you need satchels here if you've got satchels here? It just depends how much recon you bring in. You can sort of get away with using the Razvedka BMP2s in your blob, but your blob will benefit a lot from exceptional optics recon. So, and yeah, recon healers are useful. Between these two, this one's way better because it's got exceptional optics. So, and you only lose 1 availability, and it's got 8 HP, which means it can survive all manpads, and Osas, Chaprals, Rapiers, Tunguska 7, right? Yeah, survive Tunguska, Osa, and you only lose 1 availability, and it's got better optics, and it's faster, so there's really no reason to bring this, because it dies to 1 manpad hit from anything, so you might as well bring this one, and then you might be able to get away with not bringing this. But I really do like this, and given that you've got airborne forward deployed and tracked stuff, I'd be getting rid of this and putting this in, and then just putting this, so you click it, Shift F, click on your tanks, and then your tanks always have exceptional optics with them. It's really, really useful. And let's say your tank gets bailed out, or it loses its smoke or whatever, this can smoke in its stead if it's right behind it. You just press the smoke, and then you can save your tank. I think it's really useful, and it's 6 per card. All the NATO exceptional optics are 4 per card, and all the packed ones are 6, because Warno is a game made in St. Petersburg. So yeah, I really like it. AA, so yeah, Iglas, and he's brought them at 1 vet. That's fair enough. And then Tunguska, Osa, and Cubs. So there's quite a lot of overlap here. And you got to ask yourself, do you really need 9 plus 3 plus 1 is 13 quick maths? Do you really need 13 AA? Maybe you do. Maybe you do. I've certainly played against people who brought all of these, and I beat them, which I thought was quite funny actually with Prowlers. But it took me a long time to churn through them. But yeah, the OS has been buffed, right? It goes 5, 3, 2. and the Tunguska, you know, that's 421. It's like, do you really need all these? What you can do is, you know, you keep whichever one of these you prefer. I prefer the Oza because it's faster. You might prefer the Tunguska because it's better against helicopters, I guess. And it's got the whole SAC-loss thing going for it, so you can turn off the gun and use the missile. And then, like, keep whichever one you want. Get rid of one, and then you've got 1 point here, which you can either spend upvetting this and bring in a second one, right, which can be useful, or you can upvet your cubs, and then you've still got 4 cubs, but your cubs now have 5% more accuracy, which does, I mean, when it's only 45, it can actually matter. It's up to you. Maybe you do need 13 quick maths tracked AA. The alternative is you could upvet these, right, and just leave it like that. You could have two vet OSAs. I've certainly seen people do that because you only lose one here, right? You could do that because you really only need these at the start, right? And then you know, you could have something like that. Just obviously because the way the slots on this division work, you've got really cheap RT and AA, and so it's something to consider. Helo tab, so this one has 10% ECM, whereas this one has 0 ECM, and this has more rockets, and it's only 20 points more, so yeah, I get it. What I've also seen people do is bring this, because it's got lots of rockets on it, 80 rockets, although, you know, this also has 80 rockets. The main thing is that it's 2 per card, and they've got the same HP. This has armor, which helps it against plain guns, but not against missiles. And autocannons and stuff, it helps it a little bit. Not that much, to tell you the truth, but a little bit. Who knows? But yeah. Who knows? Then the air tab, so you bring the broken MiG. This thing is very broken. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention that in this patch, they added this to this division, so you can get repairers now. So 2,800 meters range. Which, you know, can be useful in some circumstances, just outrange everybody, and that's very disconcerting, just sort of feels like it's sticking in my face, but I'll stop doing it now. And yeah, so this MiG's broken because it gets, well, all MiGs are just better than all NATO fighters, because that's how it works, apparently. Because this is firing spaghetti, it gets 2 of these off before the merge, and it gets these off before the merge. So it gets 3 missiles off before the merge. The only other plane that does that, I think, is the is the TikTok, which gets 4 off before the merge, and the AMRAAM Eagle gets 3 off before the merge. So yeah, this thing's absolutely crazy. Sadly, you only get 1 card, and then he's brought the HE bomber and the cluster bomber. You can really stack the air on this, sort of. I mean, you've only got 2 more, but you can, you know, you can bring this, which is quite cost effective. You've got enough AA, really. Or you can bring this seed, which you just use against helicopters because of the guns, and it's also seed, and it's got 50% ECM. This can be useful to protect your bombers, but it's whatever you want, really. You'd have to make significant sacrifices to bring more planes, so I can understand why it's been done this way. But yeah, do try out the military police. They're so useful because of the vehicle. The ones without vehicles are terrible, but yeah, that's that. Switching to his opponent's deck, we've got Tian spamming out 56Y. And this all looks very normal here. There's really only one way to play this div, and that's spam out BMP2s, or you can spam out helicopters and lose. So yeah, the Chaika comes at 3 per card, and it's armoured, unlike the Belazor, which is cheaper. But yeah, this is still 3 per card, and it's literally got twice the HP, and it's faster off-road, so it, you know, and it's armoured and it's amphibious, which might be useful, I guess. So yeah, that's very useful, and then 3 cards of supply, yeah, 2 small trucks and a big truck, yeah, that's fine. I wouldn't bring this unless you're in a team game, and all these unless you're in a team game, so yeah, this all makes sense. Infantry tab, so we've got a Dush Commander in a BMP2D. You'll note that this div gets more BMP2s than 79Y. A BMP2 division. You know, the VDV, they're known for how many BMP2s they got. So yeah, Commander in a BMP2, I mean, okay, but it's going to get there quite slowly, but then I guess you've got this for fast, so maybe it makes sense. And then, yes, so Commandatura in the Commandatura vehicle, so this is a BTR Commandatura. I actually prefer the UAZ. but the BTR is armed, and so you might see it as a 25-point BTR, but it does make this squad a lot less affordable. But yeah, it's up to you. Then Dush Metis in the BTR grenade launcher, which is a very strong vehicle for 40 points, and they're all at 2 vet because these guys get a free rank of veterancy because they're a broken division, and because they're airborne, so all airborne divs get a free rank of veterancy to account for the fact that their units are forward deployed, and so you have to pay more, and their late game potential is very weak. This div is an airborne division, so they all get the free rank of veterancy, but actually it's just a BMP2 spam div, and they get the overpowered BMP2s, which are supposedly only reserved for 79Y. So it's pretty sad, really. But you know, it's a strike team. Who knows? Not in any hurry to fix this. Apparently, does strike team even play the game? I'm in strike team, by the way, if you're wondering. So, you know, so yeah, these are 2 vet. Because you can, and Puma Cheeky at 2 vet because you can. These lost their BMP2 in the patch. That was the nerf. They lost their BMP2. Haha, get wrecked. They're still a 40-point squad with a 1,025-meter range rocket launcher because that's sensible. And then we've got 14-man Giga squads in trucks. And then we also get 6 armed helicopters between these two. Yeah, this one's better because the gun on this isn't great, and this has 20% ECM. It is slower though. And the Afghansky are really good because basically a DMR is like 2 machine guns, and a machine gun is like 2 rifles. It's slightly more. So this is like 4 machine guns, which is 8 rifles. 8 plus 5 is 13. Quick maths. And they have an RPO, which is really good. And they're coming at 2 vet at 6 availability. So yeah, really, really, really strong squad for 60 points. No AT capability, but that's alright. And then Conkers, which, yeah, whatever, fair enough. RT tab, so yeah, you bring the mortars for smoke. This has more range than any other mortar in the game. It outranges 120mm mortars, it outranges 107mm mortars, and it is an 82mm mortar. Just VDV things. Then we've got the cluster mortar, which got reworked, and now it takes longer for the shells to land, and it's like, who cares? They basically need to reduce the damage. We'll see how it performs in this game, actually. Then in the tank tab, you also get loads of really, really good tanks. So this one has bastions, so you've got 2,800 meters range, and then this one is just a really good tank, and this is a good tank. It's just the armor's very, very strong for the price. People always underestimate these. The accuracy is good, and you know they've got that 3-1 vet, so it's a very strong tank. People just go off on the fire rate, doesn't matter. Because it should be 6 anyway, but because it's got the 1 vet, it's 7, so... basically just better versions of British tanks, these, because Warno's a game made in Norilsk. Anyway, so then you get this, which is a jammer helicopter, which is very strong. This is very good against infantry, and it's got exceptional optics. So it's a pretty interesting unit. You stick it with your tanks, so your tanks have exceptional optics. So that's quite strong. But I think he's missing a trick here, because what he could be doing instead is bringing a second card of Razvedka BMP2s, and then he can 2-vet these as well. So that's an idea, I would say, that you can do this. But, I mean, you've already got the most BMP2s in the game. So 10, 18, 24. So, you know, do you need 26, right? So yeah, maybe it makes sense. And then this is like Proto SAS, because they also get Spetsnaz GRU with Stingers and 21 pen RPGs and smoke. They've only got 4 strength, but this is a very strong squad because of the airborne forward deployment, and it comes in a grenade launcher Humvee. AA tab, so yeah, ZU spam, I guess. Okay, and then Iglas in the ZU for more ZU-23 spam. Just spam it out the AA guns, you get those as well. And then Strellas, which is upvetted once, because you really don't need 7 of them. So you've got pretty decent AA. Then in the Helo tab, you get more armed Helos, although what I would say is, you know, you could get rid of one of these, and then just bring, you know, 6 more here, right? How many would you have to get rid of? Oh, okay. So you'd have to get rid of 2, so who knows if it's worth it. You've already got 6 armed helos here at 2 vet. Yeah, so the AA one is decent for the opener. And then this cheap rocket one, because it's got the max range rockets. And then these ones for, you know, just more rockets. Between these two, I actually prefer the one with the longer range. 10% ECM, I'm just not a lucky person. So I prefer the longer range missiles and the fact that it's cheaper, but, you know, who knows, maybe the 10% ECM will see you through. And the gun is a lot better. It is a lot better, but it's hard to get into range to use these guns because 1750 is the anti-air range of a BMP-2. Oh, it's 1600 actually, interesting. So it actually, yeah, maybe it'll work. Air tabs, you also get these really cost-effective fighters. So this one's 195 and it's got, you know, same range missiles as any NATO plane, any top NATO plane has this range missiles, these stats on this missile, so top range NATO fighter for 195 points, and it's got these which are better than any NATO short range. 20% ECM on that one and 20% ECM on this one. Yeah, what can I say? And then this is really good as well. Although the reload time got boosted to 2.5 seconds, which is a small nerf, it's still extremely powerful. It's got 30% ECM. It's got a really good gun, and it's got sidewinders. Like, this should cost more, really. If you compare it to the SU-22AT, this is just better. And it also used to come at 3 per card, which is hilarious. This one has rockets on it, but, you know, you've got enough helicopters and stuff. And then 2 LGBT planes, because all good divs also get LGBT planes, and yeah, this thing is a tank eviscerator, basically. I can't remember if it drops both at once. No, it drops one at once, so you get 2 separate salvos, and because it's a really big bomb, it'll delete anything and you get 2 shots. So, really broken division. So, with that out of the way, let's talk about the matchup, the map, and then the deployments, as always, timestamps in the description. Right, so with that out of the way, let's talk about the map. Chemical, basically, you can forward deploy to rush these side zones, which is quite powerful, but both teams get forward deployment. And so, yeah, both teams are defending their zones. And, yeah, despite this being an airborne div, what it is actually is just an overpowered BMP2 spam div. So they don't actually get that much airborne forward deployment. So they can't overpower 79Y, which gets airborne forward deployment as well. And then most of the fighting happens around here. I think this map is slanted in Red's favor because this zone is massive. Like, I don't understand why this zone is pushed all the way up to here. So, I don't know. Maybe it's just my bias, but I find it very hard to defend here. So if you're on Red's side, typically you want to attack here. You can hold here because you can fall back a really long way before he gets you, right? And then you want to attack into here. Basically, that's how I see it. I've won and lost a lot of games just here. So, and yeah, so that's the map. These zones generally don't see much play, but they might do. And then these 2 zones, yeah, you forward deployed rush it at the start, or you can do like a sudden attack, right? Halfway through the game or whatever. But generally, unless somebody's attacking at the start, most of the combat happens literally here. so yeah, that's that. In terms of the matchup, 56Y is completely broken. They had very sort of slap on the wrist nerfs in the last patch, which I was very upset about. I can't talk too much about the internal processes and what happened, but I assure you, I want to see this division nerfed a lot more heavily, and, you know. Why isn't it happening then? Well, it's not up to me, is it? So, yeah, broken div. 79Y is really, really strong as well. Generally, just because like BMP2s are overpowered, and both of these divs get a really good BMP2, and so you just spam BMP2s all game. So that's it. But generally, this div is a lot better at doing that than this div is. So they've got very similar gameplay, right? They both get quite a few helicopters. They both get a small airborne forward deployed contingent to hold ground, and then they both spam BMP2s. The only difference is these guys can spam 2 vet BMP2s, and more of them, and these guys can only really spam one vet BMP2s. So that's that really. That's the matchup. Looking at the deployments, we've got Tian here, and he's sending one Spetsnaz Gru Stinger. As you'll know from the deck review, these are like proto-SAS. So he's sending one round to here just to guard Anna. And then he's sending 3 in mid. You do get 4, so this is all of them. One here, and one here. And yeah, so he's going to be protected from aerial attack in his early game with these Stingers. And because they're special forces and everything, like the veterancy is pretty good. Sorry, the accuracy is pretty good. Although, that's weird. I don't know if it actually... It must be counting it because 57 is a really weird number. I thought it was higher. Anyway, then we've got a BMP2D going here, which is very defensive actually. But yeah, this is something that I learned. I lost a game recently on this map, and basically, if you're constantly firing here, putting a bunch of guys in this forest is actually very, very helpful for helping to deal with that, because you can see in and you can shoot across, especially with something like a Conkers, you can shoot across. And I didn't realize that until it was too late. So I was running into T-55s across here, and I didn't make it. So yeah, that's probably why this is here, so it could shoot over here. Although even then, it should be here really. And because it's forward deployed, like it could get all the way up to here, which is probably where you want it, because then that gives you pretty decent vision into these sectors. So. Yeah, and then also on the left, we've got a Dush Conkers going same place. You don't want them in exactly the same place, really, because you're going to lose 2 guys to one thing, and then 1 Chiker, so wheeled CV going center, and a Gregory Chariton, so he's only got 1 CV. Then we've got 2 MI8 Rocket Helos at 2 vet, para-dropping into this zone. That's going to be very hard for 79Y to deal with, unless he opened fighter. And then we've got these 14-man squads, which are also very hard to deal with. One's just dropping in the middle of the open so he can get shot. Excuse me. Another one is also dropping into the middle of the open so he can get shot. That's really weird. I mean, you'd want one here so it can move up through here, and you'd want one here, or here if you can get there, or in these buildings so you can fight there. Putting it here doesn't make much sense because you've already got a Spetsnaz Gru going here. What do you need an extra 14 men stood in the open for? Not contributing anything. Then we've got an Igler with the ZSU thing, and then another ZSU, and then another ZSU, and then another ZSU. That's a bit weird, actually. That's 150 points, which could have been another one of these, which would also have anti-helo capability, which you don't need that much of, given that you've got the Stingers going first anyway. And it would provide significant, anti-infantry capability. I think this is a big waste, really. Yeah. And that's everything, I think. So, switching to his opponent's deployment, we got Deep Battle, playing 79Y. Spetsnaz Gru on the left, going over to just ahead of Dimitri here. Then we've got Spetsnaz Gru in the middle, going to this building, very powerful building. These guys have ground surveillance radar, so they've got exceptional optics when they're stood still, so they might be able to see the guys in these buildings. But generally, yeah, you want to set up here early and then slowly push your way, because you can take this, and then you can take this, and then you're in the zone. So that's how it's done. But actually what he's doing is rushing Anna, which you can do. I mean, we'll see how it goes. So 2 forward deployed Spetsnaz Gru. These will be this Spetsnaz Gru, because these are only 4 men, and these are 6 men. But yeah, the recon helo is going to get smacked, and then hopefully he unloads these, because this is obviously going to get here first, because it's his zone. And so these guys might die grim death, and then 2 Resvedka BMP2Ds behind it, no AA. Well, actually, maybe. Oh, never mind, there is AA. So yeah, attacking over there, and then some more guys. So an Igler for mid, a Conkers for mid. 2 TO-55s, which are actually going to Anna. And then a Tunguska, so that's good to see some AA. You could go for the Osa because it's wheeled, so it's going to get there faster. As we know from the deck review, he's got a lot of AA in his deck. 13 tracked vehicles and 6 Iglers, which is a bit overkill, really. And then a CV, which is going Fedor. And then an Igler and a Conker is going to Dimitri. So he's basically just completely sacked off Elena and Fedor. So we'll see how this goes for him. See how long he can hold on to this. Like, he's not even putting a guy here. you'd want, really, because it helps you hold on to the zone. Or you can put him here, you know. Here's a good one. Generally, I prefer this side, but I don't know if it's better. I need more games, but I think it is. So, we'll cast the game, and we'll do it from the superior side, the objectively superior side. Right, so they're off, and it's time for me to thank the generous channel joiners, generously joining the channel. They get the names on the screen, they get the videos early, they get members-exclusive videos at a rate of 1 per week. I'm currently fully unemployed, doing a PhD. My funding ran out because I'm skill-issued, and so I rely on this channel to survive. It really is that simple. So if you want more videos, if you want the same number of videos, then consider supporting the channel. Otherwise, I have to go get a job, and while doing the PhD, and then the videos will stop, basically, or significantly decrease. So that's your incentive. Yeah. At the highest tier, the tier 4, you get your games cast at a rate of 1 per calendar month. So at least 2 casts guaranteed, unless you sign up on the first of the month, which would be pretty depressing, wouldn't it? And you know, it's basically the closest thing to Warno coaching. I'm not aware of any other coaching services like this, except one Ukrainian guy who just copied me, but he does it in Ukrainian. So unless you speak Ukrainian, it's not going to work out for you. So yeah, that's something to consider. And yeah, so the rockets are getting the Afghansky in, and you'll see that he's actually moved these up. They're dropping a lot. Oh no, it was these ones that were going in the weird places. So he's managed to seize a lot of ground here, and this one Igla is not really going to be able to do much about this. If Tian sticks to his guns, he should just be able to kill it. So yeah, it doesn't even unload, and even if it did, it'd be dead anyway before it could shoot. Anyway, MI2 has seen this. It's unloaded in front of him, but he's... Okay, so he knows where it is, but I mean, why isn't it shooting? Oh, what? Oh, because he landed it. Anyway... yeah, okay, that's a pretty ballsy play there, but he got in, I mean, and this isn't dead, which is also surprising. Then that should explode. Oh, it missed. Okay. And then it hit, and the gases are going down there. Loses 1. He's trying to get in the same building as him so he can kill him as fast as possible. This now takes off so he doesn't get hit by these. And, yeah, very powerful gameplay. Now he's going to deal some friendly fire to himself there. You see how they lost HP there? So there is friendly fire if you're in the same building, but it's at a reduced rate. Meanwhile, okay, so that misses. The Afghansky are in Fedor now. It's just... Blue only opened 1 CV, and it's about to leave this. There's no CV coming this way, though, which is kind of weird. I mean, at least send this one, given that it's not doing anything. So the 2 Razvedka BMP2s have dropped. The... or, well, no, they're still in the vehicles, actually. The MI2 pulled back because this is an AA helo. And, right, I wonder if he'll smoke. Okay, so he'll just unload and chance it. And then he smokes, but it was too late and he loses 1. So 90 points in the bin there. But he can't move this up because he knows about this. So he's waiting for the Tunguska to show up. So pretty high-level game here thus far. MI2s are dealing with the Spetsnaz GRU here, spotted by the Spetsnaz GRU there. And another MI purchased. At this point, if you're red, you want to consider buying a fighter. It's been 10 seconds. Oh, there it is. So he can try and deal with these, although there's a lot of AA here, so he's probably going to lose this. Especially given that he didn't even go for it. Yeah, this is so dead, dude. Look at that. He's flying over 2 Spetsnaz GRU, an Igla. Okay, he's just good at the game, I guess. And Tunguska takes out 1 helo while we weren't watching, and then takes out the other, which doesn't react in time. And Red's got a pretty good handle on this zone now. Now, he really needs to get a CV over here. This one, you don't have to buy one. Just use this. Just path it all the way around. In the meantime, he's got this problem. So he's forced to drive this CV out the zone. You always want one on the island. What you could do is transfer this to the island, and then transfer this there, and it is, like, less total... you know, it's faster, basically, but... You know, it's not a big deal. This Igla is probably about to explode to these Afghansky, which are a very strong squad. Misses the MI8. Would have killed it, but I mean, it's got 20% ECM, and it's 2 vet. I know planes give you additional evasion, but it looks like helicopters don't. This is a BMP-1 instead of a BMP-2. If this was an autocannon, this thing would be dead. Man is spinning here. And, okay, so now he's pulling himself back over it again. I mean... Should have just kept going instead of trying to slow down, etc. But he will get out because this is only a PKT and an RPK and some rifles shooting him. That is an interesting spot. I didn't know you could shoot across the bridge, given that it says you can't. You learn something new every day. There you go. LOS tool in action there. Apparently you can shoot that. Game doesn't seem to think so. Although if you look at it from this side, you can... Oh, I see. Because basically this is rendering it just on a flat plane. And the bridge is slightly lower. And so if you look at it from the bridge perspective, yeah, you can see it. But if you look at it, it's not a one-way mirror. This can shoot back. It's just the way the LOS tool works there. BMP-1 will not die to this. What you should do is load this back up in there. But instead it dies. And this can just... Oh, actually, no, this has RPG, right? So he's got to run away. He's got to run away. He's got to reverse. He ain't doing it, though. He's just trying to shoot it. Well, he's dead now. I mean, it's a big shame. I mean, he could have smoked, maybe. Could have reversed. And he could have... Like, if he kept reversing, he could have done a lot of damage here with this. Anyway... Bomber purchased. I mean, that's not a good idea. He knows how much AA is here because it shot his fighter. So I don't agree with this. But yeah, this is a bit danger close for the task force there, but I suppose that he didn't take any hits, so I guess it makes sense. I mean, these have very short range. But basically, there's no CV here. Oh, there it is. So yeah, he actually drove the one out of mid into here. That's fair enough. But yeah, now he's going to lose both zones. If I was red in this instance, I'd be trying to cling on to the... Like, obviously your beachhead here. You need to secure your beachhead. And then I'd have this making sure nobody comes over there. Put one unit here, or just move this Conkers into this building. That'll solve that problem. And then just focus on one of the zones, rather than trying to fight over both of them. Because you're at a big disadvantage here if you're red. Because blue's infantry will mess you up. This is like... Metis squad territory. Having said that, T-55s are really good on this middle point. I recently lost a game to T-55s on this middle point, and I just couldn't kill them because I didn't have heavy tanks in. I didn't have heavy tanks in my deck. I didn't have any tanks in my deck really. I was playing sixth. Just those recon ones, which lose to these. Yeah, it was very, very, very rough. So. TO-55 here can't really engage until they get across the river, but yeah, this is looking pretty secure for red here, but you know, he's just lost these zones. So right now, red on a small advantage. Blue just sort of throw in a bit here, just throw in 3 squads away for no particular reason. This guy could get back in this house and contribute, but he doesn't feel like it, and all these guys have chosen death. So I'm not so sure about that. He's still doing it. I don't know, he just must not be looking over here. He could have run away at any time. He could have ran away at any time. And now the Tunguska's engaging as well. Oh, wow, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Where could he possibly be? This is on low altitude, so it doesn't see it. And if it was on high altitude, the Igloos would start shooting it. Yeah, okay, interesting. He's bringing up a recon now, I guess. And yeah, this is a very powerful building to control when you're fighting here. So really, this recon should be going in here so we can actually see. And then he can direct the BMP-2. The Pumachiki came over and got shot by the TO-55, but the T-62 BMP-2 combo takes out the Razvedka BMP-2, which maybe... Oh no, it used its smoke before. Tunguska goes off on the thingy-mabob, but it's got all this ECM stuff going for it, so it... never mind. And this doesn't get smoke, so it's very dead now, and it just goes pop. TO-55 gets the BMP-2, it will not beat this, and red needs to reinforce this a little bit. He's put somebody here to stop people from coming in here. I guess he's more focused on this side, but okay, T-80BV coming in. He could also, I mean, he needs another AA piece here now. Losing that Tunguska was not great news. And blue has secured his beachhead, so he can get back across the river if he wants. Although, having said that, you know, if you put somebody else here, they're still going to shoot you as soon as you come across. Somebody else here will still shoot you. So, who knows. But yeah, now red needs another AA here. Although, he's got that MiG-29 from before. The Afghansky in this building finally goes down. The sappers, this is why they weren't in that building, because they just keep getting shot. So now he's trying to 1v1 this with his own BMP-2. But he'll probably lose, because this is 2-vet. And it was stationary, so it shoots first, because the other one has to stop. So, yeah, I would have sent the TO-55 first so it could soak that shot. And, you know, potentially do that. Tunguska not really in a position to help here. And yeah, he needs to get an Igler in here, or a Conkers in here, or a Recon in here, something in this building. And then you try and move up between the high rises, basically. So here's another good one that Blue could take. He could put his Igler in here, perhaps. Tunguska does open up now, and you know, they are pretty good, so I can understand why they cost so much. But yeah, we've not seen those Osas yet, so I really feel that he should have updated his Tunguskas and his Osas, as you'll know from the deck review. So BMP2 versus BMP2 here, except Red's buying more BMP2s, and Blue is desperately trying to get back into Anna, because Red has actually managed to contest this, which means that... let's go after the BMP2. But now it's invisible, right? No, I think this sees it. Smokes anyway. He needs to get a cub up here, really, now that he knows about that. Although his fighter's out now, so as long as he doesn't dive over all this AA, which he's currently doing. Okay, just see. Oh, no, I shouldn't have evac'd. Should have just stuck around. What you do is you just shift path over here, and then because the whole point is that these guys are undefended from the air, and Blue might figure that out. I mean, he should have done, given that he killed the Tunguska that killed his helicopters, but maybe he's just sort of not doing that. I do like this, though. Do you see how he's trying to avoid the AA, and he thinks the CV's over here somewhere, and he's sort of right. We'll see if the bombing pattern helps, and now he needs to make sure he doesn't... Oh, no, why'd he do that? So, it doesn't do anything. It was a nice idea, though. And it gets out surprisingly well. I guess because of all the buildings, like, blocking the LOS on things like this and this. Like, they're behind the buildings, so they're not shooting. The building's blocking them. But what he should have done is pulled it this way, and then evac'd it manually this way. Because instead he pulled himself over the entire enemy AA net there. Although it worked out, so... All's well that ends well. Zappers are dead, and Red's got a serious issue here, which is that his infantry just can't compete with Blue's infantry, and this is very much an infantry space. The TO-55s do help, but the T-62s do the same thing, but better. They're a little more expensive, so he's forced out of that zone, but his CV survives, which is good. He needs to get this behind this. Yeah, there we go. And, yes, okay, so Blue stacked up here again. He wants to come back over. T-80BV's shown up now. Fighters up. No AA here. And he's still not bought any. He needs a cub, really. You could put a cub here, and then it would protect this, sort of, and it would protect this, sort of. Tunguska routes the T-62. But it's probably going to die now to the autocannon. No, still living. Still living. Never mind. And down he goes there. So, yeah, pretty rough matchup here for Red. This is very much where Blue is strongest. To be honest, the whole map, the whole game is where 56Y is strongest. But in particular, this zone, what I am quite surprised by is that this guy hasn't put any Metis here. Metis are really, really useful in these zones, and he hasn't put a Conkers in here. Nobody's going for these high rises. But yeah, Metis are really useful because of the ranges. Having said that, BMP-2Ds do survive a Metis shot. T-80BV deployed here does beat the T-62, and is now going to start going off on all this infantry, although it's all driving off the road there. And now it's firing a ATGM at that BMP-2, which doesn't smoke, and survives because it just misses, I guess. Oh no, he's going to get planed. Smokes. Misses that. Here's his fighter. This thing, like we said, gets its burst damage is extremely high. Packed planes in general are better than NATO planes, basically across the board. Turns into the enemy before evacing. They are the same speed, so if he just ran off and then evac'd, it would have been alright. Blue now knows that there's no AA here because he just flew over that. Whether or not he uses that information, we shall see. 2 more BMP-2Ds here. Really needs to get some AA over here, so he buys 2 more heavy tanks. And yeah, this is where Blue should get the LGBT out. Here we go. He went for the helicopters. He realised, hey, wait a minute, nobody's shooting me here. And he's got across the river. He's got across the river. This thing didn't really do as much to all that as I thought it would. I guess because it spent most of its time dodging planes and so on. Motorized Razvedka missed the BTRs a lot and will now die. Because they just missed the BTRs 3 times there. And yeah, you see that obviously he's going to beat the T-62. You know, if Blue had a brain instead of being a 56Y spammer, he could have bought a mortar. and just smoked this, and so we could, or smoked this, and so we could get across the river in peace without getting shot. Meti's coming in here to close the gap, although the BMP2 is really going to chew this up, although it's on a move order, not an attack move order. He's trying to close the minimum range here so he doesn't get shot, I guess. Which makes a lot of sense. He can survive one hit, although not on his side armor. And here we go. So if these helos go in a dumb place, the BMP2 is going to shoot them. And it looks like they've chosen dumb place going. Yep, they're definitely going for that dumb place moment there. Although, that's weird. Okay, If they get too close, it's going to really chew him up. He's bought a Tunguska now, but that one's wheeled. And here we go, second MiG-29's out. And yeah, this is really going to destroy these. So there you go. Oh, he's actually got both MiG-29s out. The one that evac from before came back quite quickly, because these overpowered missiles only have 60-second reload. Although I think in general missile reload times are quite low. Like this literally reloads an anti-tank missile in whatever. But yeah, that was kind of dumb helo gameplay there, and you got to expect the fighters, right? And generally, you don't want to drive into BMP2 autocannon range. Having said that, over here, Blue's having a much better time of things. He's taken these zones, and Red, he's got a nice fallback position. He does really needs to. Okay, so he's got a bit of recon here. He's got quite a bit of recon here. But yeah, this is just such an important place to be, and nobody's going for it. Like, neither player's going for it. Imagine if this Commanditura, which has security, so it gets good optics when it stood still, TABV does go down to the plane there. I'm sorry I missed that. This fighter, I guess, a little bit out of position / out of missiles. He's got to turn into this now. He doesn't really have a choice. Okay, so he turns away so he can get shot and die. So this wouldn't have got that second round off. Oh, I think it was this that hit it, actually. You got to turn off attack move on this, otherwise as soon as it leaves the range, you'll lose your tracking. Cubs purchase now, and yeah, just a little bit of underinvestment in AA from Red on this side. Relying a lot on those fighters. And this needs to smoke. It smokes. Poor Machiki pretty good. I mean, he's got a Spetsnaz Gru here. He could move this one up to here and put this one here. That would be cool. But yeah, just keep in mind these guys are fighting over two areas. Nothing's happening over here. You know, if you're... He's got a unit here. Like this Spetsnaz Gru, you can put it there and try and gain some insight to what's happening. Obviously, the further out you go, the more likelihood there is of you just getting bonked by a plane. So, losing a 60-point supply truck there, not great. And Red has managed to eke this out, mainly because Blue keeps splitting his... Or both forces are splitting their reinforcements. Very interesting game. Motostrelki should lose this fight because they're not in the building, and these guys have 3 machine guns, and they're 2 there, and they are in the building. But yeah, if the Spetsnaz Gru were here, I think they'd help out a lot. Anyway, Cluster Bomber comes in, completely whiffs, because this guy drives forwards and then drives back, so the predictive capacity of the plane assumes that he will continue in a linear fashion. So he duked that bomb there, and that's why high altitude bombers are kind of bad, to tell you the truth. Although the SU-24s used to have 20% ECM, and then PACT isn't allowed to have bad equipment, so now they're just Tornado equivalents, which is all very sensible. PACT has the best Air Force, and the best Ground Force, and the best IFVs, and the best tanks, and the best ATGMs. Just like it did in real life. That's why they won. So... So, yeah, a bit of a stationary front here. Trying to get the BRDM2 back in. He's finally realised that this is a thing worth going in, I think, I hope. And, yeah, Blue being a very, very wasteful on this side, and that's finally beginning to pay for itself. Although, I guess he just didn't spend his income for a couple of minutes as well. And this will now stop that tick. And this TO-55 is trying to move in here. This is spotted by the enemy, so he's got to be careful. This is out of rounds, though. Strela 10M dies, trying to be there, I guess. I was going to say trying to cross the bridge, but it doesn't look like that was what he was trying to do. And yeah, so he's just driving in. I just really don't understand why this is there and not in the building or in this building. Anyway, so he spots this coming in. TO-55 does go poof. And now there's a lot of AA here, so there you go, and now they all move. They all move. Okay, I guess they're still shooting. There you go. So you shouldn't have sent that LGBT after the first one died, although the TABV goes down to the combination of RPG-26 and 2 T-62s. these should all be moving now because of the cluster mortar, which he hasn't bought. But he doesn't know that, right? Deep Battle doesn't know that, so these should be moving after they shoot. I understand how he didn't move it when he was shooting the second one, because obviously he was still fighting. And here we go, smoke mortar. Do like to see it. And, what? Oh, this must have got it while I was yapping. Must have been this. So, Spetsnaz Gru spotted now. Should get out. Although now the Pulmachiki... but now the Pulmachiki have revealed and they've run out of RPGs, so they're dead. Oh, okay. Wow. T62 moment there. These are very dead. They need to... I suppose whichever way he went there. I suppose he could have gone here. Gets a lucky crit there, which takes off what I believe is an additional 2 HP. And drains the fuel, apparently. This should really be smoking. Although, I guess he's sort of committed to it now. It's very dead, because these don't miss. He says, as it misses. Anyway, this is low cohesion, so obviously that's not going to hit anything. Yeah, so Blue's in. He's in. He's made it back in. And Red's draws back some of his AA, but not some other of it. This one BMP1 is valiantly defending here. This will eventually kill it. There you go. A very high base accuracy there because of the veterancy and so on. And just because packed equipment's really good. That's why they won. So that's gonna stop the tick in a few seconds. Looks like Red's basically just completely lost this. I mean, this is not great for him at all. Tunguska's not long for this world, and down it goes. And yeah, Red's not doing great here. It just takes him so long to get his stuff back up, because it's slow and it's tracked and it's far away. Helps when if you don't spend your... Like, so this is a minute's income, over, and... You know, these are 95 points each, so that's over 2 minutes income there. So, you know, if it helps if you spend your points. This will die. There's no way it gets out. Okay, it gets out. And, and he's trying to survive here. Really, that smoke mod would have been a lot more useful over here. But yeah, Red contests it. And imagine if he smoke modded this, he could sit in this, right? That would be cool. Anyway, the T62 decides to drive into the RPGs, although it survives. The TO55 will not beat the T62, so we should probably wait for this T80BV to show up, or these guys to show up and do it all at once. But there's a tendency to just be like, I need to plug the gap, I need to plug the gap. And, you know, if this guy got in this building here, probably be able to kill that. 675, yeah, he would. Okay, it's weird, it made a hit sound, and then it... Wow. So it's just showing its side armor there, you know, be sporting. Take massive damage for no good reason. And, uh-oh, he's been spotted. So if he was in this building, he could contribute a bit before he dies, but nah, just... And then the Cub goes down there to the BMP2, it must have been. So T80BV might beat one of these, or two of these, but it won't beat three of these, particularly if he just sort of fast moves it into everything. So relying on the stabilizer there. Okay, I guess it's working out so far. He really should stop because, I mean, he doesn't want this to shoot him until he's finished killing all this. So there you go. He can't see it, apparently. LGBT's up, so this is very dangerous for the T80BV. I don't know if he knows about it. Oh, he missed. That's bad news because that means that he's visible. Which means that this is going to kill him. And then he just target reacquisitions there. You know, just gives the enemy more time to see him. Misses again. And, oh, okay, it doesn't one-shot it. It doesn't one-shot 3 top armor vehicles. Interesting, I thought it would with 14 HE. Anyway, this now dies because it got side-shot by this. So, yeah, a bit hasty there. A bit hasty, make wasty there. And Blue can reinforce this much more easily than Red can. Red's best option, really, is to try and sneak a BMP2 to here. And then he can shoot him in this way. So, Red on a cheeky -3 there. Not going well for him at all. And Blue's caught all the way up. There were 3 of these. I don't know, maybe a T62 killed one. Or maybe I'm just losing it. So, great. Cluster 2 comes out on the T62. Which is a bit overkill there, but what can you do? T62, BMP2. I love you if you subscribe to the channel. Haha, got that in there. And yeah, it's just micro versus micro here. Blue has a huge advantage in terms of the fact that all his stuff comes at 2 vet. As well, it's the same stuff but at better vet, and it's closer to his resupply point. The only real advantage Red has is these T80 BVs, and honestly I see them as a liability, because if you microed the 2 T62s better, which only, like, 2 T62s is basically the same price as this, then it's better, right? So these are the Bastion ones, which are a bit more expensive, but the other one's like 145, so 2 of those is 290. Yeah, so it's like this is an advantage for Red, but it's like it's a big liability because those bombers can mess it up. So let's go and hit some more there. I mean, it's just you gotta move up your recon. But yeah, I do like this, and hopefully he gets a smoke mortar and some supply, perhaps. I mean, this is just sat here not doing anything, and these guys are running out of rounds. And then he could smoke mortar this, and then he could come sit in here quite comfortably without getting shot. He could actually do that now anyway, but he doesn't know what's over here, so he should send the infantry in first. The infantry should really be coming down here, but he's also got to contend with this, right? It's much easier to just sit here and yap away than it is to you know, fight on 2 separate fronts against a broken division with your only slightly OP division. So there we go, he's clearing it out now, and then he'll be able to get the CV in. And yeah, like this cub could be here, although I think he had a cub here and it died. No, that's a plane. There was definitely another cub around it somewhere. So this is very static. All the reinforcements for both parties seem to be coming over here. And I really do think that, you know, Red could have... like, obviously he's got to make sure nobody comes down here. But he's got a motor strelky here, right? He could try... Like, this isn't doing anything. He could send it forwards to here, right? Leave the ATGM there and then try and get the infantry forwards. Or, you know, keep moving the infantry around. Just secure this. Just secure some space. Get some vision. You might be able to see something, even though it's not recon. BMP2 is probably not going to beat T62. So he smokes there. And this is still not in the zone. So Tian just getting that cheeky +3, which would drop to a +1 if Deep Battle got in Anna here. Buying some more heavy tanks now, and he's got another AA, and he's getting some more BMP2, so definitely wants to fight over here. And Blue is just not doing anything here. He definitely wants to fight over here. Oh, he's brought a bit more stuff here. And yeah, it's a shame, like, you don't see, like, do you see what I mean? 2 of these will beat one of these, dependent on, you know, how you micro, etc. So, like, this one should now smoke. And so, I don't really see it as an advantage, especially in this meta. Having heavy tanks just isn't good. What you want is mediums, because, like, this is useless for ages, because it's got to get its cohesion back. But yeah, the military police on this side, I would have loved to have seen some military police helping out these forces a bit more. I'm pretty sure this is the first one I've seen him buy. Oh no, there's another one that was here from the start, actually. So this is going to stray for BTR-60, as you do. Like, what? Anyway, now he knows there's only one AA piece here, because all the Tunguskas kept dying and stuff. So, CV tank reveals. Could use that smoke mortar. This guy just throw in... I mean, he'd right-click this, he would have won. But he didn't want to. So he loses his fighter there, which is really bad news. Though he does get a T80 BV in here. He's now inspired Blue into action, and he brings this in at the same time. These really need some supply, and this isn't going over there. It's going for the T80s, which also need some supply, and they need some military police to get their cohesion back faster, which sadly he hasn't brought in his deck. These men have no rocket launchers, so they can't help here. This is very exposed, but okay. He's got a pretty good firing angle here. I noticed he unloaded his Razvedka Saperi next to the high-rise and then didn't put them in. I'd like to thank the generous channel joiners, generously joinering the channel. I don't point out their mistakes. Anyway, Cluster 2, did it drop? It did. Oh, it got the CV. So yeah, while I was busy yapping about this, a fight happened and Red won. Sorry about that. This is clearly the more important issue. I do like how he's using these. This one will probably make it out, actually. He gets a little bit unlucky there, but yeah, evacs back over the guys, so they get another chance. But no Strela 10Ms here, just these things, which are decent against infantry, but honestly, I don't see the point. They're wheeled, right? But right, so this man can't fight back, because there's the recon here needs to move up to here, really. Maybe he's scared of losing it, but I mean, this is here, so... And you see that even though this is just sat there shooting him, you can't actually see it. And yeah, lack of infantry here could be side-shotting this. I mean, this is a very risky play to make, because if this was regular infantry, it'd be dead, right? Anyway, there was a bombing run over here, and he sacrificed one of his men to kill 2 enemies. I'm sorry I keep missing things, but they're fighting in 2 places, and I've only got one eyeball. What? So T80B slowly overwhelming here, although, I mean, yeah, I don't know about that, really. He could have just played it a bit slower. He really thinks the CV's here, doesn't he? Surprised he didn't go on all this AA, because that shot him before. He might lose this one, actually. Yeah, you fly over that much AA at that close a range, you're gonna die. BRDM2 doesn't get spotted. Wouldn't it be crazy if these guys used the high rises? Anyway, somehow Blue CV wasn't in here either, so now he's had to buy another one. And I think all his Chaikas are dead apart from this one. I think this is the last Chaika, so now he's forced to bring T62 command tanks, which takes a long time. Blue's lead slowly slipping away here. I mean, you need to get your infantry in front of your tanks. There needs to be a replacement for this. These guys are sat here not doing anything, but you can tell the strain is showing on the players because they've got to manage this front as well, which is very difficult to do. 2 things at once. So yeah, BMP2's trading out there. Neither player really seems to be able to push the other out, although, you know, if this guy got in this building and this guy sort of tried to move down here, he must know by now that the CV is like around here somewhere, but well, it's not moving, so I guess not. And yeah, Red really needs some more recon here. That helo died from ages ago. Like, because this guy, he's given good optics, but he's just in a dumb... He's in an old place. It's not a dumb place. The fight used to be in this area, and now it's not. Lots of guys not really paying attention here. But yeah, very difficult to micro all these fronts at once. You've got this front and this front, but I think Red is dealing with it a lot better than Blue is. Blue has clearly made a lot of mistakes here and has been pushed out. Whereas, you know, if you've been paying more attention, when those bombs drop, you have 9 seconds after the bomb drops before it lands. So that if you've got a wheeled CV, which he had, he should have been fine. Fighters coming out here. You must have run out of bombers or something. I could have sworn he had another LGBT. Anyway, these need to move now. And if Blue had just bought that cluster mortar, he'd be in such a better place. Because it is still OP, it's just it takes longer for the shells to land, and Red's not moving his stuff. Probably because he hasn't lost anything to a cluster mortar yet. And yeah, the Cubs are shooting things. These are sort of out of range. I guess he's not really noticed that they've not got much ammo. But yeah, the Blue it just keeps losing stuff trying to get over here. He needs this infantry, which he has a lot of, and he clearly bought for this purpose, to come down here and take this. Because this is... Once you've got this, they can't stay here anymore. So Blue's CV tank gets in, and he's managed to slow this down to a +1. And if he gets another CV tank, he'll be able to slow it down to a +none. And he is still winning, but he's not bought it. And I know he's got some, I think. I mean, has he lost a command tank? I know he's down to his last Chaika. Okay, so Red is trying to push across here, but he's smacked about by this. And yeah, you know, you just gotta try a bit harder. You know, go building to building. Although this isn't a really good spot actually. He's got 3 squads here, just sort of 4 squads here, just not doing anything. Like this one, you could just send across here and just see if you can get in. Right, okay, instead he's doing this. And this has 21 pen, but it's in the wrong building. But 21 pen is enough to one-shot, side-shot, 7 armor. Or is it 6? I think it's 7. So hopefully he gets a side shot. No offense, Mr. Deep Battle, but I want to see if I was right on the internet. Sadly, he's just in the wrong building. I don't know why he'd put it there. This one is probably best, right? But this one is good too. Anyway, I don't think he's noticed. that this is happening. And then, yeah, the cluster 2 gets another one, because blue keeps wasting his fighters trying to strafe infantry, so he doesn't keep them up here to stop the bombing runs. So he's getting air bullied. And yeah, red just drives in. He's only got 5 minutes to get 1,000 points, but blue, I don't know, just let him drive past him with 21 pen, which should one-shot 7 side armor. I'm pretty sure it does. Because 18 will one-shot 4 armor, which means 19 one-shots 5, which means 20 one-shots 6, which means 21 one-shots 7. So anyway, he's trying to run into him now. And yeah, the T80 BV did miss there. 70% accuracy, not enough. It might not have killed it anyway, because it's got 4 armor. But at that range, yeah, I was going to say at that range, it definitely should. Right, so Kilo attempt there. Strella's out of rounds, though. And, yeah, just still not in this building. Still not really using the recon, just sort of scouting with his face. I mean, it's just leaving loads of infantry, just like sort of lying around. Not doing anything. This guy's doing something, I guess. You know, just sitting around, having a blast. Like, what? All of this should be moved further up, basically. But I guess at this point, red has won so much on the KD front that he can afford to just have most of his units not doing anything. So he's managed to keep these bombers alive all game, and it's pretty impressive. One of them did die, right, like over here. And a lot of it is to do with the fact that they've got the ECM and they're pretty fast, so they get out. But a lot of it is also to do with the fact that blue just didn't keep a fighter up at all times back here, which you really need to do. Oh, here we go. He had way more CVs than we thought. He had this one as well, which I forgot about from the deck review. And I got to admire blue's tenacity to be able to push back in here and hold on to it. Yeah. I mean, yeah. And this was pretty cool from red, but it was basically just because blue messed up big time. He could have killed both of those. Especially if he saw him come in here, what you could have done is just get out the building and sit there, and they would have been guaranteed side shots. And they would have one-shot both of these, and that would have been that. Because this is only a +3, and there's only 3 minutes left. So I think honestly, for all it's worth, I think it came down to this. If blue's unit had just been in the right place, even if he'd just left it here, and then it had got shot, the tanks would have at least had to stop, because then it would, you know, be like, oh, there's an infantry there, we can't just drive in. But yeah, for his part, red could have, you know, screened with an infantry unit first, you know, just sent this down there, see what happens. This is a very powerful place to be if you want to get control over this zone. This, you know, because you could just see everything. You could get a tank there. Obviously, this is, you sort of see it as blue's land, right? But he didn't actually have anybody here. So yeah, +3 for Deep Battle Enjoyer, and with 2 minutes left, it looks like he's done it. We got some CV on CV action here. At this range, my money's on the T80. Oh no, this one aimed first, so... Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So you see how strong these are, that even at that kind of range, they shrug off a T80 BV, literally point blanking them. It survived, so... it wouldn't have made too much of a difference because there's a backup CV here and the Conker's got him anyway. But yeah, here we go. So red now may feel confident enough to push with his infantry now that he's got 7 of it. I guess secure the W there, but who knows? Who knows? Lots of guys just kind of sad. I'm very upset about this, to tell you the truth. And clearly his heart was in the right place, but because he's got auto cover turned off by default, I guess. He just didn't automatically jump in here, so... That's the problem with having auto cover turned off. They fixed that bug, by the way, that dumb bug. What? That must have been a side shot. Yeah, it was. Look, it's not turned in time. That bug where you turn and show your side armor when you route, they got rid of that, which is very nice. Blue still hasn't learnt his lesson, apparently. But it's too late, bro. With 43 seconds left on the board, you know, blue needs points if he wants to win, because it's a 100-point difference. I'm a bit miffed about this, to tell you the truth. It's just fatigue from the 40-minute game, I guess. But there's a lot of guys not doing anything. I'm including this one. And yeah, that tank goes down. It's just desperation now. It's GG basically. So this guy, he gets in here. I am looking forward to the kill screen. I want to see how many kills those bombers got. And yeah, just securing the Wing down there. Blue, I'm not sure why he's still in the game. He's definitely lost. Just clinging on for dear life, I guess. Hoping. So yeah, that's GG. GG, well played. Really entertaining game actually, and you see what happened. So the 56Y player just lost loads and loads of guys, mainly coming across that bridge, but also trying to push the rest of red zone. If you recall, he had half the zone. He kept trying to push the rest of the zone, and he just kept running into this wall of tanks. And so the KD eventually swung so far. So Deep Battle Enjoyer is somehow ranked 275. I'm not sure how. I thought that was a really high level game actually. I'm not sure what's going on here. What? I'm not sure what's going on there. I thought it was a really good game, but but yeah, some friendly fire there, and the fighters did all right. Blue sort of wasted his fighters really. The T80 BVs did all right. The blue kind of wasted his bombers a bit as well, and then the T80 BVs overwhelmed him. Generally, blue was too aggressive. He was winning and he kept pushing. He should have just sat there. But I don't do that, so I can't tell anybody else that they have to. Anyways, I'll see you around. GG.